So I said previously that there was a second part to this vice system, and it consists of three parts basically. This piece of aluminum channel that I put a standoff in here and drilled a hole in the center. That's just a through hole. It doesn't have any threads or anything in it. This plate, which I have grooved, and notice I've not marked it T and B for the reason is this is a little longer than it is wide, and the purpose I'll get into now. Now the idea of this is that this attaches to the this base, this piece of channel, by just a 1/4 inch 20 screw, 1/2 inch long, that is threaded in and tightened down. So when you're done, you have a system that looks like this. Just this plate on top screwed in on this piece of channel. And if you notice, you can see this black line here. This edge actually extends a little bit over this, and the reason for that is that when you're mounting this in your vise, get this up here so we can mount it. Should have done this before, but I'm not too bright sometimes. Anyhow, let's see. Okay, you mount this in your vise like this. Get it up a little higher. This is 2 inches, by the way. And you take that edge that's extended over the edge here, and you put it up here, and it indexes your this part. Then you can take and screw your thumb screws down, thumb nuts down, and what you have is you have an aluminum plate here. This is all aluminum too, by the way. That's attached by a screw to this. Well, the reason for doing this is, here's an example of something I've already done. This is a small piece of condor agate that I got from Mr. Billy. And as you see, it's just attached to this plate with super glue. And it's ununiform. I haven't cut it or anything else. I just found 3 points to attach it to and attached it with super glue. Now, when you do that on an irregular rock like this, you have to have a fairly decent dop of glue, and you have to give it plenty of time to cure, or else it won't cure. So what I'm going to do now is I just take this off, and all I have to do is unscrew this little screw, bolt, whatever you want to call it, off the back of this, remove this plate, set it over here. Then, by determining which is the top and the bottom on this, and what I want is I want the longer side to go down so that it slides over this edge. So I'll just take and line it up and add my screw back in. Now this, I use this nut driver. I mean, you could use a ratchet or anything else that you wanted, whatever you have on hand. 7/16. It's not screwing in. I would didn't have the hole lined up. So there we go. Now the hole's lined up. Okay, now your rock is attached to this, and this super glue, I'll tell you what, it's plenty strong. Then you remount your vise on your table. Okay, so now then, using your, by the way, these two set screws back here I told you about before, I had those locked, so it made it easier. Just give them a little twist and unlock them. I mean, there wasn't even any pressure. Then you can move this out to wherever you want to start your cut, and then lock your plate in with the set screws and move it through your saw. And then unlock and extend it whatever you want. Lock it back down. And make your next cut. Now, I've taken this, and this is a piece of Montana agate, and it's pretty darn hard. I wouldn't suggest trying to use anything like trying to cut anything this large. You know, I might be able to take a small slice off this to get it going, but here again, it was just an irregular back. I didn't do anything. So this makes a nice rock grabber, you might call, slab grabber even. And the nice thing about that is, say you have something like this piece of jade, and it's quite irregular. It's tapered and everything else. You can just attach it to your plate. And by the way, these with this, you don't need you need hardly any at all, and you want to put the glue on the outside edges if you can. It just releases easier that way. So then you like I said, have it marked top and bottom here, but that'd be pretty obvious. So you decide which way you want to make your cut, and looking at this, it looks like this is tapered, so I think I want to make my cut from the thick end towards the taper. That would be the way that I'd want to do it. So I just take this off again, and by the way, once you make this cut, now you have your rock attached to this. It's all indexed in here. It's right where it's supposed to be. You loosen it and take it off after you say you make one cut. Well, and you want to go on to something else. Well, you can just take this off, take that off, set it over to the side, wait, attach this rock to another plate after you've lined it up however you feel is best, put it on in through the saw, and then reattach it. Now that's this system, and I think you can see where, you know, you were talking one time, I know that you said that you left it up to your son because he was better at it than you were, was to take say you have a slab that's equivalent to or close to equivalent to the thickness you need for two. Well, you can use this and you can line it up and you can make a nice straight cut and come out with your thicknesses. that you'd like to have and have less waste. Or you know, if it's not quite thick enough for two, you can get rid of one part of it. So that's the idea behind this slab grabber, rock grabber theory. I think it's very useful, and it'll help you with rocks like this that you can't really put it through a full-size slab saw or anything, but you can approximate slabbing with this. This isn't going to be a slab saw, but it's going to make it possible for someone who is just starting out and can't afford a full-blown rock saw to have some semblance of slabbing abilities. Now here's probably the most obvious, and one of the things that I like best about this is, all right, we have your vise set up, and I have this piece of crazy lace, not too bad, that I got, and I want to cut out my preform. So I mean, I think this is kind of a typical kind of thing that most people do when they're doing it. So with this, I can lay this into the vise, line my cut marks up with the saw blade, however you do it, whether you use a straight edge or just by eye or whatever. Of course, some of you old hands, you probably say, oh, hell, I can do that by eye, easy. Well, I don't like that. I mean, I'm not that good, I guess. So, but if you are, you are. So anyhow, so you line your rock up, and you can start cutting. Now, one of the things that I've always just had a fit with was that once the coolant starts hitting the rock, your line disappears. Well, with this, you get it all lined up and set up, and you don't have to try to adjust your rock as you're cutting and everything else. You've got a straight line, and you don't even have to worry about the coolant splashing and stuff off that. You can stand over to the side. You can feed your rock into the saw blade just like that, and then you can take this off or unscrew this a little bit, and you can adjust it for the next cut, and then after you get that done, then you can make other smaller cuts or whatever you want. It's just it'll keep you out of the way of the oil and stuff, especially on these. I don't know of any other way. You'll have your shield here that helps, but so anyhow, that's one of the nicer points of this as far as I'm concerned. So I'll stop this here and get it loaded up and see what you think. Thank you.